Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pokémon Chat-eau, episode 5. This episode will be talking about the Pokemon games that were released on the Nintendo 64. So, Pokemon Stadiums 1 and 2, Pokemon Puzzle League, Pokemon Snap, and Hey You Pikachu. Before we start on that, I want to share something that's pretty funny. In the last episode, I posted, I put a picture of a Charizard without its horns on its head. And without any context, I posted that to Twitter and Amino to see what kind of reactions I would get. And some are really funny. Like, someone was like, "End me. That's it. I'm calling the cops. Cursed image. Nudes. Enjoy. I'm about to kill myself. Professor Charles Xavier's pet Charizard." And someone would put them back with a crying face. And someone just said, "Why?" It's so great. I'm telling you, man, with the Charizard without his horns is depressing and just doesn't look right. Anyways, let's go to the games. I guess we'll start off with Pokemon Stadiums 1 and 2. They were pretty awesome at the time. It was the way to play the Pokemon games, well, Pokemon Battle specifically, in 3D, and that was a pretty big deal for us kids. The first game was based on Pokemon's Red, Blue, and Yellow, and the games came with this adapter that you were able to put your cartridge in, and you can transfer your Pokemon to the game, and so you can battle with them, and it was a lot of fun. I actually happened to find one of those and was able to get my blue version and play through that game and beat some of the like the master rank and all that. It was a lot of fun. There's there's different cups you can do. There's like petite cup and regular, where you could just have Pokemon up to 50. Those couple of different ones. I really like the petite cup because you only use Pokemon like level 25 and under, so it like encourages you to pick up different Pokemon and try to do your best with them, and I like that. You could just straight up play the game on the N64, and it was the first time we were able to play the Pokemon games on a big screen. There was also the Doduo and Duck Trio speed up thing that you can unlock, which, it makes the game run by so much faster. And God, it's actually a lot of fun at max speed just going through that, especially when you're like, you have a bunch of rare candies you want to give to Pokemon. Just, you could tap A a lot faster, and just, it was pretty funny, honestly. I like how in the first game you can battle through, well, in both games you can battle through all the gym leaders and the Elite Four with their 3D Pokemon. And what's possibly my favorite part about it was the mini games. In there's like a play area where there's about 8 or 9 different mini games that you can play, and they were all pretty fun. Like the Magikarp jumping one, there's the Ekans like fling one that I liked, the Sandshrew one. There was a demonic Clefairy one that would always piss everyone off. Just all those were a lot of fun, and it's pretty much like Mario Party with Pokemon Edition. Even if there was only 9 games. Although the second Pokemon Stadium was pretty much the same thing, just with Gold and Silver added to the mix. There was a couple of different mini games you can play as well, and you can go through the story and battle the gym leaders and whatnot. It was fun. If you liked the first game, you'll like the second one for sure. But the second one's actually a little harder to find nowadays. Overall, these were good starts to the 3D kind of adventure that Pokemon would grow upon, like with Colosseum and all that. I don't really go back to them, but they're still pretty fun, and if you could find the first one, I think it's pretty cheap nowadays. And now let's head to Pokemon Snap. This game, so many people want a sequel to this game nowadays, and I kind of see where they're coming from. The game itself is a lot of fun. You just go around taking pictures of Pokemon. There's about like 8 or 9 levels you can choose from, like a volcano and whatnot, and you could just, you ride on this weird little train thing on a track, and you can speed up. When you unlock that, you can throw pester balls and apples to lure Pokemon to you. It is a lot of fun, but there's not too much to the game. There's only about like 60 Pokemon in the whole game, which is kind of lame, but what are you gonna do? I don't really see myself going back to Pokemon Snap all that much. Like, I understand that it's a beloved Pokemon game, but honestly, I don't really find it that great. It's a fun game for sure, but I don't really care if they make a sequel or not. I would be happy if they did, because it would make a lot of fans happy, but personally, the game was alright. There isn't really much to say about Pokemon Snap. You just take pictures of different Pokemon. Yeah. And now to my personal favorite of the N64 games, Pokemon Puzzle League. This is a game that not a lot of people talk about, and I could honestly see why. It's basically just a reskin, like Tetris Attack that was on the Super Nintendo, and that's also a reskin of a different Japanese game that I don't really know. But I don't know what that style of puzzle game is called. But like, there's different versions of it. Like there's Planet Puzzle League on the DS, which is this exact same thing, just without the Pokemon. And just for me personally, that's the game I played the most out of all these. Me and my brothers would play the crap out of that game, and we got really good at it to where we would play battles that would go on for about 5 minutes, which is an absurdly long time for that style of game. It is based on the anime, which is alright. It was back in the day when I used to like the anime. If you haven't played it, basically you get a board of different puzzle pieces, like square pieces, and you have to line up at least 3 in a row in order to clear them. And they're non-stop, and what you have to do is you have to create chains of, like, let's say you line up 3, those 3 disappear, and the blocks on top of it fall down. If the blocks fall and they line up into a different 3, it could be 3 or more, by the way. If a block falls and it makes a lineup of another 3, you created a chain. And the bigger chain you get, the more you distract your opponent. Because after the chain is done, depending on how big your chain was, a big block that falls on the top of your opponent's side, and they have to clear it before time doesn't run out. They have to clear it, or else they lose, because if the blocks make it to the top of your side, you have a few seconds to clear the blocks to get under from the top. But if a few seconds pass and there's still blocks past the top of your screen, you lose, and that's how you lose the game. You can make there's chains. You can do combos like 5 blocks in a row. That sends a little block to distract your opponent as well. But it's mostly about the chains, and it can get really intense. And me and my brothers would play the crap out of that game. But I can understand why people skipped out on this game. It's not really a Pokemon game. It's just a puzzle game with Pokemon skinned over it. But that's good enough for me, honestly. And now to the final N64 Pokemon game, Hey You Pikachu. This is a weird one. I remember playing this when I was a kid, but I haven't played it since. It's just a game where you talk to Pikachu. The game included a mic, and you would tell Pikachu what to do and help it identify objects. Like, it'll pick up an apple and ask you what it is, and you would say apple and help Pikachu out. It's a very strange game. I barely remember playing. I'm sure that we played it for a bit. We were like, oh my god, we get to talk to Pikachu? That's awesome. And then we got the game, and we just really didn't get into it. I honestly don't see how kids can really... Like, I could see kids getting into it, just be able to talk to Pikachu, but I don't see them actually beating the game. We sure as hell didn't. Pikachu just sort of does his own thing a lot of the time as well, from what I've seen. And it's just sort of there. Like, the game doesn't really do anything. You just walk around with Pikachu and then talk to it, and that's about it. There's not really much substance to the game itself. And honestly, I don't really know what else to talk about. The game is like a fun novelty nowadays, but I don't see myself going back to it anytime soon, other than just morbid curiosity. Alright, now let's just go to the poll results. This time, the poll was, which one was your favorite Pokemon N64 game between the Pokemon Stadium games, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Puzzle League, and Hey You Pikachu? On Twitter, we had 6 votes, with Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 50%, Pokemon Snap 33%, Puzzle League with 17 and Hey You Pikachu at 0. And on Amino, we had 29 votes, and this really disappoints me. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 at 55.2%, Pokemon Snap 34.5%, Hey You Pikachu at 10.3%, and Pokemon Puzzle League with 0. Oh man, come on guys. I love Pokemon Puzzle League. And you got 0%? Not a single one of you liked that? Well, I guess one person liked it. In response to the poll, Mask of a Lifetime said all of them. So he liked all of the games, which, okay. Good. Thanks a lot, man. Not a lot of people talk about Puzzle League, and I really like that game. Anyways, let's go to what people had to say about these. On Discord, Lightning Runner said, I felt like the only person in the world who appreciated Puzzle League when it came out. I only found out later that it was a reskin or a remake of Tetris Attack, but I still don't care, haters. Thank you, Lightning Runner. I love this game, and very few people talk about it. And yeah, like I said, it was like a reskinned puzzle game. I don't know what it's called, the puzzle game, because, you know, there's Dr. Eggman's Mean Bean Machine or Wario's Woods, where the puzzle game is called Puyo Puyo. But at the time, we didn't really know that. But so that's if you guys know what the puzzle game is called, please tell me, because I am really curious about that. Next to we got Amino with Video Game Boy coming back saying, I didn't have the N64, skipped out on it. Meh face. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people who probably skipped out on all these games too. Didn't really have unless if you were a kid, you didn't really have a job to buy your own systems with. That's how I was anyways. But luckily I was able to play these games, and if you can find you can find these games, the N64 is actually pretty cheap nowadays, and some of these games are also pretty cheap. So I'd recommend getting that if you're really interested into getting these. Not a lot of these are worth going back to. Personally, Pokemon Snap probably is like the best one to go to, if not Puzzle League, but that's, you know, probably me just being biased. Amazing Alolan Raichu said, we need Pokemon Snap on the 3DS or the Switch, in all caps. See, there's some people just really love Pokemon Snap, and I don't know if he's referring to like a port or a sequel or whatever, but yeah, Pokemon Snap, a lot of people love it. And last but not least, we got Jaden on Amino as well, who said, actually, not many people know, but Pokemon Stadium is actually a sequel to the Japan exclusive Pokemon Stadium game. That is very true. The Pokemon Stadium game we got is actually Japan's Pokemon Stadium 2. Yeah, here's a little trivia for you. The first Pokemon Stadium that was released in Japan only had about 50 Pokemon to choose from. It had, like, you know, some of the final evolutions like Charizard and Blastoise and whatnot. But it didn't have a lot of... It only had like a third of the Pokemon. Like, it was kind of like a tech demo, if anything. And some people were pissed off and wanted a sequel with all Pokemon, and that's what they did. And America just decided to skip the first game because there really wasn't any point to it. So our Pokemon Stadium 1 is Japan's Pokemon Stadium 2, and our Pokemon Stadium 2 is Japan's Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver, which I prefer that name, but hey, whatever. It's not like I had a choice in that matter. I think this is a good place to stop for now. For the next episode, we'll be discussing Pokemon Generation 2, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. So, what are your thoughts on Gold, Silver, and Crystal? Did you play those games? Did you want to play those games? How do they hold up today? What's some of the stuff they did in this generation that improved on the previous generation? Just, if you want to contribute, you can always leave a comment below. Or you can follow my Twitter, you can join the Amino, you can join the Discord. All that's going to be in the description below. And whatever you say, I'll have it in the next episode. Remember, Generation 2. So until then, this is Joel Telon signing off. Screw your cam, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.